Okay, welcome everybody. I'm glad that you're joining us tonight, even though it's, going to be the holiday. First of all, I just wanted to let you know at the back of the room, after this is over tonight, if you want to take a look at some t-shirts. We have some t-shirts that are going to be available that I've done, and we will be ordering according to what people want, and the money will all go to the history room. Okay, so it's a fundraiser. The shirts are $30. They're nice quality shirt, and they're being printed by Michael's Print and Embroidery, so it's supporting that program as well. So tonight I just wanted to introduce our speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce Phil Iversen, and he is a true numismatic expert, or as most of us would say, a very knowledgeable coin guy. I first met Phil at a meeting of the Bay Cities Coin Club. I attended their meeting seeking advice on how to navigate the sale of my late father's coin collection, a subject I knew very little about. I was fortunate to be paired with Phil, whose knowledge, patience, and generosity have been invaluable throughout the process. For more than 5 decades, Phil has been a dedicated advocate for the hobby of coin collecting, promoting education, research, exhibits, and community service. He's held leadership positions with numerous local and regional organizations, including the California State Numismatic Association, the Numismatic Association of Southern California, and the Bay Cities Coin Club. He also served for 8 years as Director of Education for the California State Numismatic Association. Over the years, Phil has received numerous awards and commendations from numismatic organizations in recognition of his contributions to the field. He is widely respected for his engaging presentations, educational exhibits, and award-winning writing in various publications. Today, Phil will share a presentation on the Huntington Hotel Depression SCRIP. And then he can answer any questions about coins afterwards, and if you're looking to sell some coins or know about coins that you have, he is very knowledgeable and has been a great help to me. So, welcome, Phil.
Thank you, Julie. Good evening, everybody. I'm Phil Iversen. I'm very happy to be here to give a program. Julie requested I come down and entertain you tonight, so I am here, and I am very happy to be here. She said you're a wonderful group, and you all look wonderful, and I appreciate you coming out on a holiday weekend.
Thank you. Your shirt looks wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of patriotic weekend. This is our semi-cinquentennial celebration of the United States of America. So we celebrated our anniversary 50 years ago, bicentennial. So we have this year, and another 50 years we'll have another celebration. But unfortunately, I won't be here to participate. So we do what we can while we can. Program tonight is just very short and succinct, but it's something of historical significance. It involves SCRIP, S-C-R-I-P, without the T. That's something else. The use of emergency money has played a very important role in the financial history of the United States. It has been used on several occasions in the past through varying lengths of time due to financial situations arising from wars and crises caused by speculation and economic conditions. The most prominent period was from 1931 through 1934, during the Depression after the stock market crash in October of 1929. High unemployment, a financial and credit system in grave danger of collapse, and the failure of 5,000 banks from 1930 to 1932 necessitated the need to implement a temporary way of providing emergency money until such time that confidence could be restored, which came about in mid-1933, when the government increased the amount of money in circulation and the inauguration of the federal works projects to absorb unemployment. Emergency SCRIP was issued by towns, cities, and companies in all 50 states, including the nation's capital. In addition to that, it was also used in various times in Mexico and Canada, believe it or not. Tonight, I'll be sharing with you a story of local historical significance I hope you will find very interesting. The city of Pasadena is well known for the annual Tournament of Roses parade, the Rose Bowl Stadium, and football games. The Gamble House, a very whimsical doodah parade, the home of Trader Joe's, the Norton Simon Museum, a restaurant where the first cheeseburger was allegedly created, Caltech JPL, plus being forever immortalized in the 1960s hit song, The Little Old Lady from Pasadena by Jan and Dean. But it wasn't always that way. Pasadena is part of the original land grant named Rancho de Rincon de Pascual. It was originally called Indiana Colony due to the many people from the state who worked on the rancho. And in 1875, the name was changed to Pasadena, a blend of Chippewa Indian words meaning crown of the valley. It was also the terminus of the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, which brought out wealthy people from the east to stay in the many opulent hotels, enjoying the wonderful balmy weather during the winter months from January through April of each year. One such hotel was a 6-story Huntington Hotel situated on a knoll in approximately 30 acres of land towards the south side of the city. The original hotel was built by General Marshall Clark Wentworth, who was born on August 6, 1844. At the age of 16, he enlisted the 5th Marine Volunteer Infantry and served in the Civil War, rising to the rank of general by the time that the war was over with. Wentworth came to California in 1886 and managed the hotel in 1906 with big plans to build his dream hotel. Construction began in a concrete reinforced structure in January 1906 in the Spanish Mission Revival style that was designed by Charles Frederick Whittlesey and Company. It first opened on February 1st, 1907 as the Hotel Wentworth, but only the first 4 stories were completed because many of the construction crews went up north to San Francisco to work after the devastating 1906 earthquake. Unusual heavy rains that year kept prospective guests away, forcing it to close on July 2nd, with only a temporary roof over the 4th floor and leaving the hotel with little profit and a leaky roof. In 1911, after years of legal bankruptcy and proceedings, the property was then purchased by millionaire magnate Henry E. Huntington, who owned adjacent property, which now includes world-famous Huntington Library. Many improvements were made, including adding the 5th and 6th floors, plus a new water system. In addition, there were 27 bungalow cottages, and a Japanese garden on the beautiful grounds, a golf course, and a tennis court. Finally, on January 8th, 1914, the Hunting Hotel was opened for guests. It was managed by him from 1914 to 1918. At first, the hotel was open only during the winter months, but it began year-round operations in 1926. An Olympic-sized swimming pool, the first in the state, was added for some guests. It was opened during World War II as part of the hotel was rented to U.S. Army's 35th Division for its regional headquarters for $3,000 a month. However, nobody had the foresight to understand what was about to happen during the time of financial uncertainty, which is the main impetus of this program. During the 1920s, the United States employed a prosperous and growing economy, but soon went into depression after the stock market crashed in 1929. Lower prices, less demand for goods, many business failures, and high unemployment were but just a few of the major difficulties facing our great nation. As time went by, more and more banks started to fall, and people were hoarding whatever money they had available, Beginning on February 14th, 1933, Michigan, which was particularly hit by the Great Depression, declared an 8-day bank holiday. Then fears of other bank closures spread from state to state as people rushed to withdraw their money just in case. Within weeks, 6 other states had their own bank holiday in an attempt to stem the bank runs. The banking system seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Oh my good heavens, what are people going to do without any money? Everybody was thinking. Following his inauguration on March 1933, his 2 days in office, President Franklin Roosevelt set out to rebuild confidence in the nation's banking system. First declaring a 4-day banking holiday that shut down the banking system, including the Federal Reserve. The Emergency Banking Act was introduced on March 9th to a joint session of Congress and passed the same evening amid an atmosphere of chaos and uncertainty. It was one of Roosevelt's first legislative acts. Much to everybody's relief, when the banks reopened for business on March 13th, depositors stood in line into their local banks. More than 50% of the money they had fiercely withdrawn and put away. The stock market registered its approval as well, and on the first day of trading, March 15th, after the extended bank holiday, it recorded its largest one-day percentage increase to date. The new law allowed the Federal Reserve to issue additional currency on good assets, thus the banks that reopened were able to meet every legislative call. During this period here in California, Governor James Rolfe proclaimed March 1st a 3-day bank holiday, and later extended it in conjunction with the national bank holiday. In lieu of cash shortage that arose from the bank closure, merchants decided to issue SCRIP to maintain commercial trade, since the federal government could not supply adequate amounts of either coin or currency. SCRIP is defined as a temporary certificate issued for exchange at a later date for specific purpose, i.e. money, goods, or services. The Huntington Hotel was one of the first to issue its own SCRIP. This was issued at the hotel for its visiting guests and used in the hotel to buy cigars, food, tips, haircuts, and cosmetics, and also was accepted by Pasadena merchants, including country clubs. Remember, these people were the 1% of their day, and what were they to do if they didn't have money to spend? The SCRIP was printed in the hotel's print shop using safety paper, which was also used printing the hotel's checks. Each is unifaced and measures 4.5 by 7 inches in size. They were dated March 3rd, 1933, and all of them were jointly signed by S.W. Royce, President, and G.D. Smith, Secretary. A total of $1,000 face value SCRIP was printed, but not all the SCRIP was issued, and approximately only $100 was never redeemed. They were issued in denominations of 25 and 50 cents, plus $1 and $5 denominations. The various quantities of each are unknown, but more likely there are more in the smaller denominations. Each SCRIP has a brown serial number printed on the upper right-hand corner, and is also embossed on the left-hand side with the hotel's company seal for safety precautions. Serial numbers of the $5 SCRIP was donated to the Smithsonian Institute in our nation's capital, along with examples of the 3 other denominations. In the March 13th, 1933 issue of Time magazine, a short article appeared telling how the hotel SCRIPs were caught off guard by this quick and sudden action and what the hotel did, plus mentioning some of the prominent people it was issued to. On April 10th, a letter from the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco was sent to the Huntington Hotel asking for information about the SCRIP. A reply letter from Mr. Royce was sent back to Mr. Wheeler explaining the circumstances as how this call came about. Subsequently, a letter dated November 29, 1933, was sent from the Smithsonian Institute, thanking the hotel for 4 specimens that hotel had provided. 1954, Mr. Royce sold the hotel to the Sheraton Corporation and remained the general manager until his retirement in 1969. Later, the hotel was closed after because it failed to meet the current earthquake standards of today. After renovation, it reopened in March 1991 as the Ritz-Carlton. And in 2008, it was sold again and is now known as the Langham Pasadena, and celebrated its 100th anniversary centennial in 2014. Over the years, the hotel has been used in many television shows and movies too numerous to mention. A site for historic meetings and events, has been visited by many famous people, and some not so famous, such as myself. Although a bit faded in time, these SCRIP souvenirs remind us of an important time in our history in numismatics we all hope we'll never see again, but who knows. I happen to have copies, photocopies of the script. I will put them on a table a little bit later. You can take a look at them. This is the 25 cent. You can see the serial number 1 up here. This is the 50-cent one, number 2. This is the 50 cent. And this is also number 2. And this is the $1 one, dated number 1. See, I don't have all the number 1s because one of them is in the Smithsonian. Now the question is, how did I acquire these? I think that Mr. Royce had all this information himself and preserved them until he passed away. He kept in the family up until about late 1900s, maybe early 2000s. He came up for auction and I saw it.
There's some water down there.
Thank you. Let me get a little bit here. It came up for auction by a well-known paper money dealer back in, I believe, Kansas. I said, that is something of historical significance, and it is California history, and I wanted to keep it in South California. So I bid on it, and I was a successful bidder. And it cost me an arm, but not an arm and a leg, fortunately, at that time. And it arrived and it opened up, and it was in a great big frame, probably about 3 feet by, maybe 4.5, 5 feet. Wow. And each of these items and all the corresponding information, the letters and the Time magazine article are all encased in that frames. So I didn't want to just take the whole thing around and show it, so I took it out of the frame. I left everything in its mat, because if I took off the matting, I would probably have harmed the material itself, and I didn't want to do that. That's one thing you don't want to do. It's like coins, you don't want to clean them, and stamps, you don't want to lick them. So anyway, I had all this material. I did a nice write-up, and I took everything and made an exhibit out of it. It was actually two big cases, just about 3 feet wide each. And I took them to both local, state, and national conventions, and I won numerous awards because it is something of or historical significance. It tells a complete story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to the whole thing. And obviously, something as rare as it is, add a little bit of impact to it too. I decided that eventually I would sell it, and it is gonna be up for auction later on this year by the company that I first bought it from, you know, almost over 25 or 30 years ago. So hopefully somebody will keep it all together and enjoy it as much as I have. It's just been wonderful to have something like that, and I appreciate it very much. So, have any questions about this?
Did the existing hotel, are they gonna show any interest to have
No,
something?
no,
They're
no,
not even-
they have no interest in any of this.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that's the way it is, you know. You know, what is past, and the new people say, you know.
Were they ever counterfeited?
No, no.
Okay.
Well, like you say, there, all but $100 was redeemed. I have tracked down maybe about $18 worth of other certificates,
Yeah.
other scripts, so there is some remaining out there, but I think really, the rest is lost to history, either destroyed, lost, burned, damaged, or whatever, and you never know how much is left, but there are a few pieces out there from time to time that pop up in auctions, so, yes.
Were there other, well-known businesses or cities in the Los Angeles area that also issued script?
There were a number of them. This was a book that was issued back in, believe me, 1961. It's referred to as the Bible of Depression Script. It's written by two well-known numismatic authors,
Wow.
and it has all the pictures
Wow.
of all the script issued in all 50 states, including the South of Mexico and Canada. I'm not sure if there's any well-known companies for California.
Some of them kind of look like stock certificates.
A lot of them look like stock certificates. Some were issued by, some were trade warrants. One was American Revolving Finance Company. Some issued, one was issued by a lumber company. One was issued by a spring and bumper company. One of the most unusual ones were issued by Pismo Beach, California, and which was unusual about that is they use clamshells. And they were redeemable after a period of time, up to a period of time, and one of these is actually located in the Smithsonian Institute's National Numismatic Collection at the History Museum in Washington, D.C., which I visited last year and saw. And that's probably the most popular one for California, but there are some other ones too. Chico, Berkeley, Compton, various cities and other businesses issued them from time to time over the years because they needed some money to get them by for a period of time.
So, how much do you expect for this to sell at this time?
I have no idea. It's
I
just
mean, are we talking $20 or thousands of dollars?
in the thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah, I can say something as esoteric and as scarce as it is, it will command a reasonable price. It's just something you don't see every day, and something you have three number ones, or two number ones and two number twos, you can't get any better than that, unless you steal one from the Smithsonian, which is hard to do. Yes?
Can you explain what script is exactly?
SCRIP is a certificate in different forms. It's like a promissory note. I promise to pay and for a period of time, and it's usually redeemable. So,
So
like I say, the hotel issued them, and if the people at the Huntington Hotel went to Pasadena and issued, and paid a merchant for it, then the merchant would go back to the hotel, and they would be redeemed in cash when cash was available. So it was just a temporary, like a temporary IOU, let's call it. That'd probably be the best definition of it. Yes,
Why was the Federal Reserve interested in?
pardon?
Why would, you said the Federal Reserve sent them, or asked, why were they interested in them issuing this script? I think you mentioned.
Oh, the Smithsonian was.
Oh, I think you said the Federal Reserve.
Oh, well, yeah, the Federal Reserve, they wanted to find out about it too. They just had heard about it and wanted the information, and so the, hotel sent them a letter telling them what they did, and they got a reply thanking them for the response. Any other questions?
What caused the contraction of the money supply available for commerce, in the thirties?
Well,
Just hoarding, people taking the
hoarding,
money
yeah,
out?
yeah. People weren't working, so they didn't need, to print money. So in many years, if you look at your, dimes, they made dimes in 1931, but they didn't make them in 1932 or 1933, because there was no need for it,
Yeah.
And people, what little they had, they were saving whatever they had, so, they didn't wanna spend what little they had.
And when Roosevelt took us off through an executive order, basically the gold standard, I don't understand why that was never challenged, but I guess it wasn't. Then they started issuing, by expanding, the amount of currency that was out there. Was it that, or was it World War II that saved the day?
Well, the emergency, issuing more currency to pump out more money and put people back to work through the,
The WPA.
WPA and the CCC and those organizations that, help people get back to work and employed. So, and then, World War II came by and things obviously got better with production, and the economy started to grow, and after that, things took off.
Mhm.
So I hope you enjoyed this presentation.
Yes, yeah.
I have, another one, about Alaska. You might be interested. Maybe next year I could take care of that for Julie and this wonderful group. And, be more than happy to come back and visit you again.
Anybody have any questions for Phil about coins? Anything, if anybody has any, like I said, I have a lot of coins to sell, and I had no idea what direction to go, other than going to a dealer, and I didn't wanna do that, cause I knew nothing about it, and I didn't wanna get ripped off. So I went and visited the coin club, took some coins over there, and then I was hooked up with Phil, and he's been helping me for a few months now to sell it without having to go to a dealer that's going to undercut.
That's huge, that's
Yeah,
huge, 'cause
very good.
I don't wanna go to a dealer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
This is a general comment about hoarding. My late mother, she was pretty old, she grew up in the Depression. Until the day she died, she did not trust banks.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah, a lot of people lost a lot of money during the Depression.
Some people feel that way today too. You never know with these kind of banks, what's gonna happen for some of these banks. They're playing games all the time, and, hopefully there's not gonna be one of them that goes under, cause, I don't want the Federal Reserve to bail out all the banks all the time for their mistakes. It's not a thing to do. Speaking of the Bay Cities Coin Club, we used to meet in this room.
Really?
Yes, it was,
before COVID, right? You went here.
before COVID, we used to meet here. We had a hard time scheduling because the facility here would only give us maybe a 1 or 2 month, okay to use the room, because they had other events going on. And when we got here at 6:30, there were other people in here, and we had to scoot them all out. And we had to go ahead and, do our business and have fun and, get out of here by 9 o'clock, or else we got in big trouble again. So we got a little tired of that, and so we moved to a different location. And, it wasn't the greatest, and so this is why we now We actually met in 2 different places until we meet in the, place where we meet now.
Where is that?
It's a Presbyterian church. It's right on, Sepulveda, north of, Manchester on 80th Street. I have some flyers, I could pass out to you.
Right across the street from the YMCA.
I'm not familiar.
I was gonna say near Armstrong's.
Yeah, north,
Ish.
right across from the YMCA, there's a church that's on the corner.
Yeah, 80th
So-
Coast of Oz.
And I just went over there one night, I had my husband go with me because I had a huge bag full of silver. And, cause I didn't know what I was gonna run into, and I just kinda showed Phil some of the coins, and he said some of this is gonna be better off selling for melt value, some will be better off selling for collectors, and I can help you. And so he came to my house, and I had bags and bags and bags of coins, and everything just together, and my dad had collected over the years, and Phil sat down for a couple of hours and went through all of them and sectioned them off for me for this is melt value, this is for collectors, this would be going to auction, and has been slowly taking batches of coins and selling them for me, for my mom, and have done really well. And it's, my dad's been gone 17 years now, and the coins have just been sitting there, you know, and nobody's interested in them, so this
That's the
was,
thing, I'm surprised
this was
that
the way
there's
to
a
go.
coin club, people are so interested in coins. I can't find anybody who's interested in family, right? Nobody cares.
Yeah,
No, the kids wanted to spend them.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
And we have, like, there's pounds and pounds of pennies that my dad collected. My brother met with a coin dealer, and the coin dealer said, oh, we'll take them off your hands, cause nobody wants the pennies. Just bring them and we'll take them off your hands. And I told Phil that, and Phil's like, oh, no way, there's penny collectors, you know? So a lot of the things he has saved for me, and helped me with, because I had no idea, you know? And the coin dealer wanted $350 an hour just to look at
Oh,
things.
wow. Jeez.
So it's been a great savior finding the club and that they have this service.
Great.
So if anybody has any coins, Phil would be your guy.
And Julie had, a lot of collectible stuff. It wasn't so much, it was some of it was collections and some of it was accumulations. You know, the club does this as a benefit to the members of the club and also the general public. We do appraisals, and then we had other people do the same thing, and we've sold things, at the club through an auction basis. That way all the club members can participate. And Julie's getting a better price than going to a dealer, and it's also benefiting the club members because they don't have to pay full retail, they get a little bit better discount. So it's, you know, cutting out the middleman, and, you know, it's beneficial for everybody on both sides. It's a win-win situation. We do meet, once a month. I have some flyers. If you would like to come and visit, feel free to do so.
What
All
does the
the
meeting look
information.
like? What does the meeting look like when you guys meet?
We have about 25 to 30 people. We have a chair set up like that. We usually have an educational program. We have a monthly auction. We have refreshments. We do community service. We also set up a table at the El Segundo Town Fair. We've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen you there.
No, we're
I
there.
see 'em there all the time.
We're right on the high school lawn, on the east side.
That's where I usually am, the
Yeah.
chamber.
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
are like right next to each other.
Huh? That's cool.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we've been doing that for about 3 years. This year was nice and sunny. Last year it rained. It was cold and damp and windy and cold and miserable. But,
That's right.
you know, we you know, try and do things in the community to help things out. And, you know, I give talks like this to other clubs, and, you know, it's a wonderful hobby of sharing. And,
And they're, like the president, his son's there in Boy Scouts or something, and he'll do the pledge, and so, you know, there are some younger, but at all different ages, men and women, that, you know, have been there. But you guys have been around since like 1940 something.
44.
Wow.
Yeah. The club was founded in Santa Monica because, it was during the war years and people couldn't afford gas to drive down to Los Angeles for the Los Angeles Coin Club. So it was founded in Santa Monica, and the first meeting site was held in the Borden room of the Santa Monica Bank.
Good place for.
It's a good place, yeah, so. Any other, yes?
So, we're talking about stamps, and you said don't lick them, but I got a bunch of licked stamps.
Well-
So, what do I do with that?
Well, it depends, have they been used?
Well, would they be used if they were licked?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I have a lot of that have like first edition and whatever they call them, but there's a box and it looks like they've been used, I don't know.
I'd have to take a look at them, just like anything else, like coins and stamps, you gotta see what they are.
How do you properly clean coins without damaging them?
You don't.
You know?
No, I was gonna say, don't clean coins, you don't lick stamps. There are professionals that can clean coins, but it's expensive to do so. And you only wanna do so if the coin has a certain value to it. You know, you can clean coins, if the coin doesn't have any value other than face value. But if it has a numismatic value, you don't wanna clean it, okay? A lot of people use baking soda on silver coins, and baking soda is very abrasive, and it leaves marks. And, you know, it does look shiny, but it ruins the original patina on the coin, and, you know, it's not good. You don't wanna use, copper cleaner on your cents either, because that's not good for it either. Their cents, they aren't pennies like everybody calls them, but pennies came from the English penny, which was a big, large, round coin, and we started making our first cents about the same size as the English pennies, and so the name associated with the English penny became the American penny, but you look on the back, it says 1 cent. And there's a whole story about that, and even the mint issues coin in sets, and it says pennies on there. I just get so mad. I've written to them so many times, I'm frustrated, so.
Will pennies go up in value now that they're no longer making them?
Not really. The older ones that have numismatic value would continue to still have numismatic value, but all the current recent ones, you know, probably from the late 50s to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, just worth 1 cent.
I have a question for you personally, how do you deal with a massive amount of coins? I mean, I get frustrated after I look at 2 or 3. How do you like sort it out?
It takes time, you have to be patient, you know.
That's one.
Some people, I mean, back in the day, people would go to the bank and get a 5,000 bag of pennies and go through every one of them.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I used to help my aunt, who was a numismatic type person, do that.
Uh-huh.
Go to her to Bank of America, and she'd go in and get, I was the carrier. I was a kid, you know, and carry out the 50, I guess it was $50. There was 100 rolls in there, right? In a sack. They weren't bulk pennies, they were rolled up already.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when I was started out when I was about 9 years old,
Yeah.
I used to go to the bank and get rolls of cents and go through them and keep the ones that I wanted to keep and then fill them with other ones and take them back and exchange them and get more rolls. That's how most people started collecting coins.
Yeah.
You know, they found things in change or they go to the bank and go roll hunting and, you know, I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I kicked myself for not being able to have enough money to keep all the coins that I couldn't keep and had to put back in circulation. If I had all that, I'd have a much better collection.
But you would be surprised on these coins, like for instance, I said for melt value, which I didn't know anything about that. And, so it had tons of silver dollars, half dollars, quarters, dimes, and it sold them to Phil for melt value. And one of my brothers was like, you know, how much do you get for a silver dollar? He goes, a little bit over $1. And I was like, no. And he was like, well, how much can they be worth? And I said, well, depending on what year it is, when they were all silver, I said, he paid me $50 per silver dollar.
Wow.
And so, and then it goes down according to what the market of silver is at the time. So, but I could get more for that silver dollar that way than if I were trying to just sell the coin as a collector coin.
Yeah,
But doesn't
Yeah.
that drive collectors mad when you melt it down instead of?
I don't know, but he can help you also with silverware and silver pieces and all of that as well, you know? If you have sets of, you know, silverware and everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have a good story about that. Years ago, I bought a set of flatware from the antique store in Hermosa Beach, and I never use them. I go, I gotta get rid of these, but I always check to see if there's any value. The value was like $4,000. I'm like, oh my God. And so I put a note in the box that said, when I die, please do not throw these away. They're worth $4,000, whatever, because kids don't care, right?
Yeah, kids.
And I ended up melting them down, so
Mhm.
it's, yeah, that worked out good.
Yeah.
I worked in several coin stores over the years, and I could tell stories about what happens when people come in with coins and things that they have. It's just amazing stories. I could make a program on that sometime for you too. If you want to hear some interesting things that go on, you know.
Huh. Well, I was a waitress in the days when a nickel or a dime or a quarter was a really big tip, you know? So I would get, every week, I would sit down on the floor and roll money, but, or coin. But one time I have, and I still have it somewhere, I'm racking my brain. One person gave me in a little envelope, my tip was like 5 pennies and a little note in it that said, this is valued at, and it was something like 50 cents or something. But I still have those 5 pennies in that envelope somewhere in my underwear drawer or something, you know, tucked away. I should, because that was like 1970. I should find them and say, is this worth more than 50 cents now?
It'd be interesting to find out,
Yeah,
who knows?
because, yeah, I think it was something like 1911 or 1908 or something, you know, like
1909.
whatever years. It
Yeah,
was
DVDs.
old pennies.
Old bandit, okay.
But I mean, that was a tip somebody gave me.
Well,
And I
that's nice.
remember we did have a coin shop in town where I grew up, even though it was an extremely small town. We had a coin person.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my story.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go home and find it.
All right, good
Could you
to
find
send
mine? I
yourself.
can't find mine.
Right. Yeah.
Do people collect more US coins or foreign coins, or is it about the same?
Well, most people here in the country collect US coins. There are people at the club that collect world coins. You know, coins of, just by country. Some collect them by, rulers, by animals, things of that nature. One guy collects things with ships on them. Somebody collects things with fish on them. All kinds of things. I know one person, friend of mine in San Diego, she collects things with, turtles on them. And there are coins with turtles. So, you know, it's fascinating what you could collect. Some people do it by, musicians, historical people,
How about the commemorative quarters, you know, that started
Yeah.
whenever with all the stakes and.
well, we started with the state quarters, then we came
Yeah.
out with, I think, the national park quarters. And, they keep going, different series every year. Every 10 years, they come out with a
Okay.
series for 5 years.
And then those are worth about a quarter.
Yeah, worth about a quarter.
I remember saving those too, yeah.
Well, it's fun, it's educational, okay?
Yeah.
You know, the mission of the club is education through numismatics. So a lot of people collect different things for different reasons, and we encourage that. We got paper money collectors, we got coin collectors, we got world coin collectors, we got stamp collectors. We got other people that collect different things. I collected many other things besides just coins.
How about insulators?
Well, there are people that collect insulators and barbed wire and, you know, all the other good stuff that, you know, thimbles and bells and, you know, everybody collects different things. You'd be surprised what people collect. And, you know, there are clubs for that. You know, people are in the Bell Society and, people collect stock certificates and, you know, all kinds of different historical things. So,
What's the most unusual coin you've ever seen?
most unusual, I don't know if I could
Sort it out.
sort it out, yeah, that's kind of a tough question to answer, I don't know how would you describe unusual sorts, but,
How about the most valuable?
the most valuable one I had was, let me see, it was a silver dollars. I bought it from somebody in the collection, I think I sold it for $6,000, yeah.
Wasn't one of mine, was it?
No. This was many years ago, I set up at shows and go from San Diego to San Jose and done shows back in all over Los Angeles and San Diego and Orange County areas, and so you just never know what you're gonna come across, and people have different things from time to time, and I pass out flyers when I go to shows and invite people to clubs, and people come to the club and they find out, just like Julie did, that, we're available, we're here to help people. We don't wanna see people, lose a whole lot of money by selling things for a lot less than their worth. And that's one of the benefits of having an appraisal. I do another club I belong to, we have an appraisal event where it's at the Burbank Recreational Center out in Burbank at the Senior Center, and they advertise our event, coin appraisal event. And twice a year, we have our event on Saturday for a couple hours in the early morning. The facility's not open all day long. And we set up tables, and there's 4 or 5 of us, club members, that we set up tables, and members of the general public come in and bring in what they have, and we do appraisals and tell them the value of what they have, and things that are worth something or things that are not worth things. So,
That's huge, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So, we do it as a public service and educate people, because
On TV, I saw a couple days ago, the new quarter that the Mint is putting out for celebration of the 250 years. They're making 250,000 of them. What do you think the final value will be roughly settling at, if you happen to come across? Because you can't go to the bank and get a roll of them. They're mixing them in. The Federal Reserve is mixing them in with just general quarters. They're not distributing it.
well, you're talking about the special quarter.
Yes.
Okay, that's different than the other 5 regular issue quarters that they're coming out with.
Yeah.
Now, this,
Independence.
yeah, this one, I would probably say it might be worth about $100.
Wow.
Yeah, it just depends.
Wow.
You never know. And
Yeah.
just, supply and demand, is one of the
Yeah.
things that you derive a price for something. And,
If you saved it for 50 years, it would be worth something.
anything else? If not, I thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And if you'd like a business card or something from Phil, or a flyer on the club, in case you have any more coin questions.